Hello everyone, this game is listed as Acer's Bly vs. Lucky Game 1. So I'm not sure what that last game I casted was. I'll figure it out when I go to Game 2, but let's cast this game first. Spawning in the top left is Lucky, the blue Zerg, and spawning in the bottom right is Bly as the green Zerg. Now I don't know if this game was before the one I just casted or after it. It is listed as Game 1, so I'm going to say it was before, meaning that I can't tell you how Lucky, basically how Lucky won that game and how Bly might be thinking. Basically, I feel that means that Bly must have won this game. I mean, he absolutely has. That much we do know. Bly absolutely has to win this game. Because well, no, he doesn't. Well, here's the thing. I have also a game listed as Lucky vs. Bly Game 2. So maybe that's my missing one from Bly vs. Arthur. Or maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe I am just wrong and confused, and who knows? Maybe Lucky wins this game, Bly wins the next, and then Lucky wins the other one. Pause please. Alright, and they pause, they go, everything's working. Let's see how this game goes on Bel'shir Vestige. Basically, not even basically, doing the exact same thing, even the Overlord's heading by at the right times, exact same timing. I will say that Lucky is just a hair's breadth ahead of his opponent, but a little bit down in supply. Not quite sure how that always works out. That always feels like that's something that happens where one player ends up with a drone more and another player ends up with basically a slightly faster time. On the other hand, the hatch coming down for Lucky was faster still. So hey, you know what? It's just how it is. It's how humans are. Nothing can be perfect, and actually the positioning of mineral fields don't really allow that. I am almost entirely convinced that on some maps, some mineral fields are actually placed in a way where there's slightly different incomes to begin with. Yes, so RAR. I don't know why I just said RAR. Actually, I do know why, because I was texting a girlfriend of mine who, yeah, RAR is something we do. Don't mind me. I'm embarrassed that I'm saying all this. I'm just gonna shut up and stop digging my grave, but I can't do that because I'm casting, Anyway, seeing a build like this, it's pretty much saying they want to play a macro game, I feel. Though what macro means in ZvZ is that they get banelings at... Oh yeah, is that? Now, I'm just going to quander here. I feel like I'm... Don't mind me, folks, just doing math in my head. Alright, it looks like his income actually is just fine with that there. That is a little bit confusing to me, because it looks like those drones are just slightly having to head around that spawning pool, and if that was true, it would actually be delaying his gas income, which could be very deadly. He is going to be able to get one drone kill before losing his Zerglings, almost getting number 2. Wouldn't that have been nice? Wouldn't it have been pretty to think so, but it does not happen. Bly going to be heading for a faster metabolic boost and getting the Baneling nest down already. Its positioning sort of feels a bit more defensive than anything else. Bly pausing again. Wonder what's going on. Probably none of my business. Not going to question it. He asked for a pause. Everything is fine, and it doesn't matter too much to us since we're not the ones observing this. Who is, by the way? Guy Z-Cups Ursidon, Pomi, King Cobra. Don't know who most of these people are. Caster? Is that even... Wow, that's interesting. Anyway, I do like that guy named Ursidon because he is named after an Arctic creature from the planet Calder, which is aggressive, and you kill it in the Swarm campaign to adapt your brood to cold. Either way, that Baneling nest feel like he's going to be pretty aggressive here, and I'm not really sure that there's much that Lucky's going to be able to do. Almost like he's returning. It's almost sort of the mirror opposite of what we saw before, with the lair coming down just a tad faster, I feel, for Lucky, with the Baneling nest coming out faster for Bly. The only question is whether or not he's going to be able to hold this. Is this perhaps a Muta play? I don't think so with the roaches coming down, although Dark tells me that apparently roaches into Muta isn't that uncommon. I don't really understand it because roaches take gas, and gas is something in short supply with Mutalisks, but hey, what do I know? I'm a Protoss player. And also, he's not taken all his gases, which sort of leads me to suspect he isn't going for Mutalisks, but some sort of roach push indeed. Gileo reconstruction, that roach speed, and a +1 attack coming down. Interesting note that with +1 attack, they will 2-hit Zerglings, as opposed to doing it in 3, I think. I'm like 90% sure. I'm gonna double check as the roaches spawn. Yes, indeed, with that attack upgrade, they will be able to 2-hit Zerglings instead of 3-hit them. That's actually a very important thing, and we're going to see how it turns out. Of course, we are now seeing the Spider come down for Bly with his 3rd base. This is a much different game than before, but he has to be worried about those roaches. Although it does look like Lucky's going to be taking a 3rd base of his own, so perhaps this game will still be a little bit more macro than I was thinking. There comes the Lings. If you can get them early, you can get a force an early cancel or even destroy it. Wasn't quite fast enough as the roaches are already there. Your question about roaches I don't know if it's going to be very much effective. He is able to get almost into the main base there though, and he is forced to come back. Did he kill? I think he killed a, yeah, he did. He brought an Overseer in and was able to kill off 1 creep tumor, not able to get the 2nd. More's the pity. Of course, that is spotted right away. Overseers and Overlords in every which way direction. He has seen that Overseer coming out, though, so maybe he will be able to stop it. If he can, they are going to be trying to focus that down. Will they get it? Yes, they do. They do not get a cancel off that. They actually managed to kill his 3rd base. That is impressive. But the real problem is for Bly here, once again, he's got roaches at his doorstep. A lot of roaches at his doorstep. Not nearly enough spine crawlers to deal with this. He has Mutas about to finish, but remember what happens. We're going to start counting the workers lost here. Will he be able to even deal with this is the question. There goes a queen. Now he's going to start working away at those workers on both hatches at once. And we're looking at that climb up there. 13, 14 kills, 15, 6, 17, 8. I mean, it's almost too fast to count as the roaches continue just to move in. Oh my gosh, though he does manage to clean that up in the main base. So now he's going to have to chase it out of the natural. He might lose his 3rd if he isn't careful. I feel like careful has really almost nothing to do about it. He has to... Oh my gosh, it's going to be so close. And he just barely saves it. Oh my gosh, 20 workers killed. But will it be enough? Those roaches, you can just basically send 1 roach and get that dead. Oh, yep, there we go. Going to be able to kill that hatchery. So sad that no matter what he was able to do, he loses it anyways after a clutch save. Not willing to let it go, but he could save those Lucky could save those roaches if he wanted. I guess not. Pause, sorry, my sound, I don't know what's with that. Sorry, thanks, go. Wow, what is wrong? I don't even, well, whatever. Either way, these moves are going to be moving out to harass. Lucky, though, having a buffer of overlords, he's not going to be getting supply blocked with this. All of a sudden, those mutalisks just like, whoa, or those roaches like, whoa, maybe don't want to go that way, as he does take out some of the creep. There, is he going to be able, is he going to engage into that? He is. There's the transfuses, though. Now, that's the real issue, is that he can keep on transfusing pretty much forever, and there's the contaminate. You don't often see it, but it is good to see. Nice to know that they are going to be using that. Unable to train or build new units for this time. I don't know if this interferes with larva inject. I feel like it does. We are seeing a lot of queens on the way. There's a transfuse. There's, oh, missed a transfuse there, or maybe he didn't even have the energy. And yet he did not. Cost him a hydralisk and a queen. Remember that with tissue regeneration, the mutalisks just have to sit out of battle for a small amount of time before they are able to heal again. Both players denying the 3rd bases. I feel like Bly, though, will be able to get his up first and keep it longer, just because mutalisks are that good. Of course, Roach Hydra now is on the field. He has to be careful not to actually engage this directly. He does not have the mute account to do so. On the other hand, he can continue to harass overlords. Even if he isn't able to supply block Lucky, who's not going to be falling for that, he certainly will be able to force him to spend minerals and larva into doing that. And with that contaminate, I don't know how honestly effective that will be. He does able to delay that hatchery there. Very, very useful. Basically the third base is going to help decide this match. Roach Hydra versus, what is this even? Roach Muta? How do you even talk about that? We're going to call it Roach Muta. We are seeing Burrow come down for Bly. That's going to be an interesting choice. I like it a good deal. You don't often see Burrow in ZvZ or ZvX, really. You don't see Burrow a lot. But Burrow is a fascinating thing. Now, here's the thing about having a Roach Hydra army versus Muta lane is you have to worry. If they go pure Muta, there's always a chance they might just have more than enough to overwhelm you. Now, here's the thing with those Mutas, the Mutalisks and the Roaches there. How is this all going to play out? All of a sudden, the Mutalisk sweeping in there, going to be able to pick off a queen, maybe two. Not going to be able to get much before they're forced to retreat. I do feel like Lucky has the better force right now, especially with those Mutas going to be taking a little bit too many of a risk. That is a problem that Muta players tend to have, is you just feel sort of like I can zoom in, zoom out, and all of a sudden you've zoomed into more than you can handle. Both players having infestation pits coming down. That will be a deciding factor in the game, is how the fungals are able to work with this. Basically, a couple of good fungals could cost either player the game, no matter who has the advantage. I do feel Bly, I don't know if Bly is going to be able to handle this army. The thing is that he can't really match his opponent on the ground, and those Hydralisks just do so much DPS. I don't feel his Mutacloud is big enough to handle it. He will be able to probably make it back to his base in time to help defend that with the Mutalisks. Trying to focus down that third base. Don't know if it's worth it for him to do it. He was able to get the better positioning there, but will it matter as those Hydralisks do come in? He does get the base. He's going to be running back home, seeing if he can do anything, but all of a sudden there's roaches everywhere. Well, that Banelings. That's going to be an interesting choice with Burrow. If he'd gotten those into position earlier, he might have been able to make something of it, but without the positioning, I feel like all of a sudden this may just be a problem. A couple of good hits on those Hydralisks, though, could mean a world of difference. There's the Burrow. The only question is whether or not they try to go into the main base or focus down his hatchery first. It will be 2 base to 2 base then. Going to be an issue, as all of a sudden we do see Roaches engaging over here. I do believe that Lucky has the upgrade advantage. Indeed, he does. That's a huge difference. Oh my gosh, not going into the main base, perhaps wise to the burrowed Banelings. Instead, going to be going down to the natural here, which is, or not the natural, his third base. This is going to be an issue. He really cannot afford to lose too much in this. The Roaches in position trying to protect versus the Banelings. The Mutalisks trying to engage there, but let's face it, the upgrade advantage is not in Bly's favor as he loses another hatchery. All of a sudden, the advantage is slipping into Lucky's ability here, or into Lucky's. There's the GG, and now I'm wondering what that next game is. The one that's labeled as this matchup 2. We're going to find out